Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing good and keeping safe. That's the most important thing these days. Thank you for supporting me and thank you for understanding that I've been through a lot. Okay, so let's come back and let's see what we are going to take up tonight. So for now, I have round three, which was left. Okay, so let's take up the round three of speaking section tonight. So as you can see, round three is talking about discussion. Now, what kind of discussion? It's a two-way discussion, guys, okay, between the candidate and the examiner. Now, questions are usually based on the theme of the cue card of round two. So, whatever questions you got in your cue card of round two, related to those questions, you will be having multiple questions in your round three. Okay? Now, what is the difference that you have to keep in mind? See, guys, in round two, you had a very specific topic. Whatever the topic was, it was one main question followed by a series of sub questions. But the topic was specific, a journey, an exercise, like that. Whereas in round three, though the questions are related to this specific topic, it is spanning across the related areas, but the questions would be of more general and abstract nature. Getting my point? Now, what do I mean by that? Let's discuss in a bit. For now, what is that one main thing that you have to keep in mind? Assessment parameters. Now, whenever you are talking about speaking section, whenever you're thinking in mind and practicing at home or even going in the real time scenario, keep these four assessment parameters in head. Number one, fluency and coherence. Number two, lexical resource, that means vocabulary, high range. Number three, grammatical accuracy and grammatical range. Okay, complex sentences. Number four, pronunciation. Now, in detail, I have talked about all those four parameters in my previous videos, so do check those to understand it in a better way. Okay, now let's move ahead. Now, what are all those things that you have to keep in mind when it comes to the round three while giving answers? First, everything matters, guys. Now, this is a discussion round, guys. So, what kind of content are you coming up with? What is there in your answers? What expressions are you using? What is showing on your face? How are you answering? The kind of body language you are playing with? Everything matters. Okay? So, do keep all these things in mind. Then, make your answers as interesting, as informative as possible. How are you going to do that? We have learned the entire strategy. By now, you know, including details, comparisons, opinions, everything matters. So do that. Keep that strategy in mind. Number three, do not give one line answers. See, guys, the entire speaking section, specifically round three, is all about showing the vocabulary, showing that yes, you have the command over language. So, to show your linguistic ability, you need to come up with that high lexical resource words. Getting my point? So don't give the one line answers. That's not what IELTS is looking for. Give complete answers. Don't talk in phrases. Don't give one word answers. Okay? Went there, did that. No, that's not happening. Where do you come from? Mumbai. That's not happening. So give your answers in complete sentences. Okay? Watch your grammar. Do not panic. Now, this is one of the most important things, guys, when it comes to round three. What usually happens in round three, guys, is when you give one answer, the examiner counters your ideas. Okay? Now, in this case, if she's doing that, do not panic. Suppose you come up with an example and you say that, I really like when people dress neatly. And then the examiner counters your ideas and say, what do you think? Clothes matter when it comes to understanding somebody's personality? Now, here she's, as I said, countering your ideas. Now, in this case, do not panic, guys. Think about it, analyze what she has asked, and just come up with your opinion, with your answer. Why? Because she's doing this just to test your command, your communication skills. Okay? So you cannot just panic and say, no, ma'am, I didn't mean to say that. No, no, no. Just go with the flow. Be confident and keep on answering. Okay? Another thing, not every time we are sure and we are comfortable with the language or the accent somebody else is having. So, in that case, please politely ask the examiner if you have not understood the question. Just ask, ma'am, could you repeat? Pardon, ma'am? And she will do that. Don't hesitate. You can ask the question again. Okay? Another thing, do not use abusive language. Guys, never make this mistake. The examiner, you have to understand, is there for you to support you, to get you your desired score. Okay? Not there to judge you at all. She's there as a facilitator, not a barrier. Okay? So do not use any kind of abusive language. Now, another thing related to that, be courteous. Don't forget that it can create wonders for you. So, what we usually say is, when you're leaving the examination hall, after you're done with the entire round 1, round 2, and round 3, the entire speaking test, now you have to leave the speaking hall. Before leaving, thank the examiner for her or his time and the support that she has provided you with. Okay, it does make a big difference. Then the last thing is, see, you have done it. You know your strategy. You know how to handle the different parts. So please don't panic. Stay in the entire speaking section calm. Have those positive thoughts that yes, you can do it. Have faith in yourself. Okay? I think I've emphasized on these things enough. Okay, so let's move ahead and see what is a strategy that I was talking about. So we have dealt with this strategy in my previous videos in detail. Okay, so let's just go through them one by one. Add details in your answers, guys. They do matter. Give your opinion. I like this. Now, I don't like this now. Compare things. Compare timeline. Now, I'm not into football, but I really like playing cricket. Compare those things and then come up with why do you not like something and why are you in favor of something. Okay, so specify reasons. Then compare your timeline. Earlier, I used to play cricket, but nowadays I'm more into soccer. Okay, and then again, come up with reasons why that transition happened, why that shift happened. Getting my point? And when you're talking about all those reasons and comparisons and analysis and opinion, give examples. Don't forget to give examples, guys. Another thing is, use frequency words. So words like occasionally, never, rarely, seldom, all these things, always. Okay? Incorporate all these things in your answers to make them come in high vocabulary range. All right? Now let's move ahead. So we can see two cards here. Why? Because there is no better way for explaining something than doing it through an example. So let's see. So what I've done here tonight is I've taken a round 2 cue card, okay, which we have already done, and round 3 related questions. And taking both of these together, we will try to understand how are these round 2 and round 3 related to each other. Okay, so let's do it. Now, our round 2 cue card was about the journey that didn't go as planned. Now, if you look closely, you will understand, guys, that talking about a particular journey is being specific in nature. Okay, this is only one journey that you're going to talk about. And the related questions were where you were going, how you were traveling, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these were sub questions, but the main question was all about the journey. Now we have round 3 related questions. Now let's see. If the specific question was all about journey, round 3 would be talking about, as I said earlier, much broader in concept, general, more abstract in nature. Okay, so if it is journey, much broader concept would be of travel. Getting my point? So now all your round 3 questions would be related around this cue card only, but in a much broader way. So travel. Let's see one by one. First, why do some people prefer to travel abroad rather than in their own country? Why? Now, why? You need to be in analysis. Okay? You'll come up with reasons, you'll come up with comparisons, and then you will come up with examples. Okay? Another question. Do you think traveling to another country can change the way people think? Now, do you think opinion? So this is an opinionated question. Do you think traveling, so you will, have those analysis in mind, and then you will be having all those reasons going on in your head, and then you will form an opinion and speak about it. Getting my point? Do you think it is good for children to experience life in a foreign country? Again, you will do analysis in your head. You will try to compare and come up with reasons and then form an opinion and come up with the answer. Fourth, how have holidays changed over the past few decades? Now, over the past few decades, this is a comparison of timeline, guys. Okay, so you will compare the past and the present, and then you will come up with the answer. And while forming the answer, of course, you cannot do away with examples, so you will incorporate those examples. Okay, then, do you think it is safer to travel now than in the past? Again, now than in the past. Comparison of timeline. And then, do you think? So, first you will analyze, try to compare the timelines, come up with examples in your head, and then form an opinion and come up with the final answer. So, that has to happen very quickly in your minds. Okay? Now, see, guys, what we have done here. If we smartly look at the entire thing, you will understand that while I was talking about this strategy that you have to keep in mind while answering your cue card questions, when it comes to round 3, these questions that the examiner is going to ask you, these questions are nothing but a technique to extract that entire strategy out of you. Why? Do you think? How? Now than in the past. So all that you kept in mind for answering this cue card specific question, now this round 3 questions are trying to extract that strategy out of you. These questions are trying to elicit whether you really possess the quality and the capacity to bring this strategy in your answers. That's a smart move. Okay? So you have to be smarter than IELTS. And yes, keep that strategy in mind and you'll prove that. Next, let's take up another example in the same way. Round 2 cue card. Describe a useful website. Now, talking about one single website, isn't that specific? It is. Moving ahead were your questions which were following your main question. Okay? So, in all, you were talking specific. But now let's move ahead and see what round 3 related questions are. So if it is a website, what much broader can be the part of your round 3? Internet, of course. So internet is something that you will be having questions upon. Number 1, do most people have a computer at home in your country? Again, you have to go deep down, dive in analysis, come up with examples, reason it in your head. Do most people have computer at home in my country? Oh yes, they do have, and I have examples. And then you come up with details. Second, do you think all information on the internet is true? Now, again, you will analyze in head. Okay, and then you will understand, okay, not everything is true. So I have details. I have examples to back my answer. Back your answer. Make it concrete. Come up with a strong one. Okay, do you think? Opinionated. Form your opinion and talk. Third, how can people find reliable information on the internet? How can? Now somebody is asking you ways out. So of course you're coming up with examples and giving her that, oh, this is the way you can find the reliable information on the internet. Getting my point? Fourth, how has the internet changed the way we live? So something is getting changed. Some transition is happening. Now it's again comparison of timeline. Okay, so you will do that in your head. How the ways of living have changed. Okay, so they have changed in a major way. Earlier we used to live like this when we had no internet. But now internet has changed so much. Just by the click of our hands, we can get our food delivered to our doorstep and all of those things, right? So of course you're coming up with all those details and examples. Second, then, How has the internet changed in the way we work? Similar to that. Again, timeline. Again, comparison of we work. So, okay, earlier we used to work like that. Now it has changed. Details, examples. Frame your answer accordingly. Then, do you think the internet is safe for children to use unsupervised? Now, with this question, you will think a lot in your head. You will analyze deeply. Okay, no, actually, it is not safe. Children need some guidance. They need someone to be there and tell them that no, this is not right for your age. This you should not see. Certain things need to be logged. Okay, all of these things will go in your head and they will go on, as I said, quickly. Okay, so you will come up with all those details. So, whenever you're talking while being in the round three, just understand, as I always say, keep it like a casual conversation, keep it like a coffee date. It's more like a friendly conversation. Nobody's there to ask you, to judge you. She's just there in the conversation with you to know more about you, to have your views on certain things. Okay, and that is an interesting conversation when you are actually having a discussion. So be in that, be involved, make your answers interesting and informative as possible. Getting my point, guys? So just keep all those things in mind. And I'm sure you'll do. So just keep all those things in mind, and I'm sure you all will do great. Moving ahead is one practice example. So we never leave without practice example. So what I've done here is the same thing. I have provided you with your cue card and your round three related questions. Now what you have to do, please time yourself. So when you are doing this, the round two cue card, time yourself. Give yourself 1 minute to prepare and then 2 minutes to speak on the same. After you are done with this, time yourself for say 3 to 4 minutes. Okay? Or rather, have someone, probably a friend or someone from your family, to ask you these questions. In that way, you will be having a much closer view to the real time scenario. Getting my point, guys? So keep that thing in mind. Practice this example. Don't take it lightly. All right. What else do I have to say after the end of this entire speaking rounds? Now, what else do I have in mind to tell you? So, at the end of the entire speaking section, please remember that this is the COVID situation, we all know, right? So, in this COVID situation, whichever candidate is going for the speaking test, that candidate has to put the mask on. The mask on while speaking. Okay? That is how we are going to talk in the speaking section, in the hall. Now, guys, so what is a better way to handle that situation? At home, when you're practicing for your speaking section, please do that with your masks on. Don't take it lightly, guys. It makes a big difference. Okay? When you are practicing at your home with their mask on, you are understanding the nuances. You are understanding what troubles are you facing. And you are also at the same time coming up with the solutions for those troubles. Okay? So if you keep practicing at home in that way, you will be having absolutely no issues while being in the real test center. Okay, are you getting my point? So please don't take this lightly. As I've said enough number of times, whenever you practice, please time yourself. Okay, don't say that I am not timing myself at home because I'm just rehearsing, I'm just practicing. There I know what 2 minutes look like, I'll manage. I know what 1 minute look like, I'll manage. That's not happening. Nobody is able to manage. Not even me. I could not also manage. So I did practice before I went to my real test center. Okay? So please do that. Even if you're confident enough that you're going to crash it with huge scores, brilliant. I wish you all the best. Okay? But please don't be overconfident. Just once, but practice. Time yourself and practice at your home. Keep that thing in mind and keep the speaking strategy in mind. Okay? And I'm sure you're going to do great. With that, guys, this is the end of the speaking section. If you have any issues regarding any video till date, or if you have not understood anything, keep in mind that you can message me through Instagram, YouTube comment box, Telegram. the main place I usually connect with you. Okay, so keep sharing the Telegram group ID with others who you know might be needing it. Okay, and do remember that I come up with new videos every Tuesday and Friday. So keep looking for it. Till then, take care and good night. Ta da!